We're back with our Witchfinder Finanza. Alright, today we are continuing with Witchfinder, and we're going to do Witchfinder Vol.3, The Mysteries of Unland, with the backwards A. So yeah, this is the one thing of Witchfinder so far that hasn't had any Mike Mignola involvement. And it's done by, let's actually get the proper page up here. Kim Newman and Merca, art by Tyler Cook. And Tyler Cook does what the fuck's it called? Harrow County. This artist is actually phenomenal. I really like him. But yeah, I haven't read Harrow County. I really wanted to though. Colors by Dave Stewart. You're gonna see him pop up a lot. I like him as a colorist. He's really good. Letters creme. You see all of that. What the fuck am I talking about? So yeah. So this is like probably I'd say that of the Witchfinder books, this is my least favorite, but I still really like it. It's still a really good book. It's just kind of confusing. In fact, I have read it multiple times, and I still don't know what the fuck. So yeah, let me try to summarize this as best as I can. Let's go over the artwork first, because that's the part I can most easily talk about. Clem Robbins is right? No, wait, what the fuck? Am I an idiot? What the hell's the artist's name? Oh, Tyler Cook. What the fuck did I get Clem Robbins from? Oh, Clem Robbins with letters. Yeah. All right. So his art's awesome. My favorite part about his art being, well, that it's I think this is Stewart did the coloring, and I think he did this with watercolors, which I think works really well. But also the fact that they draw a Witchfinder with just like this sagging bitch face. That I just really like. Like, every frame is just a pout. And I really like that. Also, one thing I gotta talk about in a minute is the advertising campaign for this. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, it's just like every frame, like every panel is just sagging bitch face. And I love it. It's so fitting, like, especially in this book, because he has to go out of his jurisdiction for this book, and he is just not happy with it. And I don't know, it's just something really funny about it. But yeah, this art is very experimental, and especially like this right here, it pretty much exemplifies what this artwork is, and it's very expressionist. It's just like the warping of all these things is so fucking expressionist movement-y, and I love it. It's the least noir. Actually, this is kind of a mix of like the Hard-Boiled Detective and Golden Age Detective. It's kind of a hybrid. I'd say like, maybe it's, I mean, I can't say it's a quote-unquote commentary, but like, it's an interaction, I guess, whether or not it was intended or not, between the two. Whereas Edward still remains Hard-Boiled Detective, and he interacts with the sergeant, and the sergeant, or constable. Constable George Lawless has his flashback, and this is one of my favorite moments of the book where, I don't know, it's just very meta, where he tells his recounting of what he thinks happened with the crime, and he's like, "The suspicions of Constable George Lawless. They have seen him for a mark and treaded on the black eel, blah, blah, blah." And I love this, and then Sir Edward just interrupts, like, "What the fuck? No, that's dumb." But he keeps going with it. I don't know. This artwork's very awesome. It definitely calls attention to itself, but like, I actually really like that in the comic book. I don't know if it's necessarily like the best practice for storytelling, but I really like it personally. And they also pull out, of course, the Sir Edward Grey has little comic panel. I don't know if it's a comic book or not, but little things about him. And he gets attacked by eels. One thing that Gray does a lot in this book, which is very different from the others, is that he talks to himself a lot. And it's very like poetic talking to himself. That's why this reminds me more of a Golden Age Detective, because he's saying like recounting verses in his head and stuff like that, and he's saying witty things in his head. And I like it. It's kind of not like him because, you know, he usually doesn't like recount things in like verse. He'll just say things in his head that are kind of witty, but like also more grounded. But yeah, and then this is where things start just losing me. So I don't exactly understand what's going on in this book. I know, like, I'm starting to glean the details, but I've read this through multiple times, and I'm just so goddamn confused. And part of it, I know, is the fact that the language in this book is a little, you know, above. They made this book very British, like, incredibly British. Whereas, like, the other books, like, the language I could understand, like, there was some stuff they bring in some, like, verses, you know, or they bring in some references that I didn't get, but I could get them through context. But like, hold on, let's see if we can find a good one here. All right, here's the one that I remembered. Like, makes me out to be Hackshaw, Deadeye, Dick, and St. George rolled into one. I don't know who any of those people are. Like, and there's a lot of lines like that. I just don't know what the shit they're saying. But that's not like the whole thing. Like, there's just a lot going on here. And then they tease at, is it right? Where is it? Hold on. So see how there's something about this backwards A that they highlight. Obviously, it's in the title. I don't understand what it is, though. Like, Katie Bristow? Or wait. Oh, wait, no. Was it because... Hold on. I don't... Is it maybe because he's trying... I think maybe he tried to give him a sign? I think maybe... Yeah, that must be it. That he tried to give him a sign without saying it outright. But then he gets killed. And I don't know. And then he fights things. And then this book really starts losing me like right about here. So like I have an idea of what's going on, but not really at all. And then everybody turns out to be witches, and something's happening. I don't really understand what anybody's motivation here is at this point. But they're all trying to kill everybody. The place is flooding for some reason. Is it like... Oh, wait. So they're talking about how England can't and be involved with the pact for Unland. So I guess maybe Sir Edward coming there broke the pact they had. I am so fucking confused. So then they renew the pact right here with Mona? Who the fuck is Mona? Wait, Mona is... Was that the daughter? No, that was... I don't know, man. I am so fucking confused. And then it ends... And then just to make me really doubt myself, they throw this in where they're sitting here, and then at the same train station later on, guess who comes up? It's Abe Sapien. So I haven't read any of Abe Sapien. Maybe this book ties into that. I'll have to see. Just from the way these past few books have been structured, I would guess that I could read this. I should be able to read this on my own, but without having had read Abe Sapien. But the thing is, this wasn't done by Mike Mignola, so they might not have gotten that memo and decided to tie it in with Abe Sapien. I don't know. I'll have to read Abe Sapien and get back to you guys on that. But or maybe somebody can listen in the comments and complain about it or something. I don't know. But yeah. So I'm not totally sure, but I do really like this book. I just, you know, I can't fully understand it. Someday I'll understand it better. I'll go back to it when I read everything and see if I can understand it a little bit more. I don't know. But the artwork in it is just my favorite part, and I actually really want to read Harrow County now just because of this artwork. And I really like... Before, when I was complaining about Sir Edward being fucking 23, this actually kind of makes him look realistically more... What is he, 20... He's 25 in this. So that's a little more realistic looking. I'm not saying it's fully... But yeah. You can look through the back pages. Like, look at that. Look at the coloring on there. They're originally going to do blue coloring, but they didn't. Yeah. All right, so Tyler Cook was the one who did the watercolor part. And tried to work that in with Dave Stewart's colors. So, yeah, that's what I figured Tyler Cook would do the watercoloring. But, yeah. Yeah, and it's actually, I guess it's just washing. It's not actually coloring because Stewart colored it later. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Wait, what the hell? Oh, so is this literally just a page from Abe Sapien? Is this not even... Huh. I can't tell... Oh, so they didn't wash that to make it look not old. That's interesting. I actually really like that. It's a cool little thing. Huh. Unless this is actually just like a copy and paste of a page. But I think they just didn't put washing on it to make it look modern or something. But yeah. I still really like this book. Basically, the first half of this book is a lot easier to understand. And then kind of when he goes over their house for dinner, that's when it starts getting really confusing. You know, there's some cool little action stuff done in here. I love, hold on, let me find it. This is part where Edward gets attacked. And, where is it? It's right here. Yeah, there's something, I really like the way they drew the actions in this part, where he just kind of like, whacks him over the head. I thought that was a really cool panel. And yeah, he has a little sword thing on him and kills it and shit. You know, it's all good. It's all good because he's Sir Edward Grey. Oh, and one of the most important parts I have to talk about is I actually referenced this in my first review of In the Service of Angels, where Sir Edward gets bitten and he's sitting there dying with this guy who's dying, and he's just like, well, I mean, I'm bros with the guys in heaven, so I really have nothing to worry about. So I'm totally cool with dying. And the other guy's just like, no, you're not. You're going to go to hell. And he's like, right, I'm just going to sit here and die. Dog. I'm so sorry about this. My dog is fucking pain in the dick. All right. And now we got one more thing to talk about. And that is in the end, we have this mini story. And the cool thing about this is Beware the Ape. I have that right here, but it was originally published in Dark Horse Presents number 36, which I just so happen to have. Now I don't know, I don't think this is the last, because Dark Horse Presents is going on again now, but the article I read said it ended at 36, and this was like from the reboot of it ending before, so I guess they rebooted it again. The Wikipedia pages on all the Mignola-Versed books are not up to date. So yeah, and I don't feel like putting them up to date because fuck me, I don't like that shit. I don't have time for that shit. But yeah, and this is actually one of my favorite covers from all of Hellboy. And this is I think Ben Stenbeck said that this was his favorite cover that he did. And Beware the Ape is done by Ben Stenbeck, and it's very simple. And I really like this. It's actually a pretty funny thing where Edward Grey goes into this guy's house and he's like, so we're missing an artifact, and you wouldn't happen to have it, would you? And the guy's like, what? No, not at all. And he's like, so it's not, so this blood that's on your cane, that's nothing to worry about? No, not at all. And then, so the artifact that is sitting right there on your shelf, that couldn't have gotten there from you stealing it or anything. He's like, what? No, not at all. But then the guy's like, it wasn't me. It was the ape. And there's just a fucking monkey standing there. And he's like, what? And then it like flashes back to the monkey getting possessed by the fucking statue. And it attacks him. And he like, and then he just fucking shoves it out a window. Then, hold up. Transforms a horse into a thing. And then he has to kill the horse. And then... And the last page is this guy, whatever his name is. I don't ever remember his name. And then he's sitting there with green jizz all over his face. And He's like, so you better catch that monkey. I'll do my best. Gray failed to capture the ape. It escaped to France, where it murdered a rich widow, and it was hanged. The end. I don't know. I love that ending. So yeah, definitely thumbs up on that part too. So glad I got this issue of Dark Horse Presents. I love Dark Horse Presents, but it's just too much money for me to fit into my thing. Like $8 for a bunch of like little minis. Like, granted, I like this story, but I've hardly even read the other stories in this, and I just don't feel like reading them. But yeah, whenever there's a story I actually care about, I'll pick this up. You know, for instance, Witchfinder. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to review after this. Oh, well, I do know what I'm going to review after this. We have one more volume of Witchfinder to read. Ta-da! But after that, I have no fucking clue. So, goodbye.
Hey guys, one thing I just forgot to put in the video, and that I just filming last minute on my phone. Sorry for the audio, but yeah, I forgot that I was going to talk about the advertising campaign for this, where they put Pool's Elixir at the end of everything. Now, unfortunately, I thought I had an issue of BPRD that had this ad in it, but I didn't actually have it. I think I read it digitally and I just got confused. But yeah, I will put up a picture of that advertising campaign right here. Ta-da-da-da! Yeah, doesn't that look good, that thing I can not see right now? But yeah, I don't know, it's not that big a deal. It's just, I really liked their advertising for that. I believe they just kept teasing that without actually saying what it was, and then they announced it as a Witchfinder thing. That was kind of cool. So I like it when things do those clever kind of advertisements like that, and really kind of adds into the mythology, or not the mythology, the tension, I guess. I don't know, I'm speaking out of my asshole right now, but yeah, just, you know, I'll put that in. So, cheerio, thumbs up without being weird. Bye.